everyone, welcome to our mobile photography workshop. My name is Emi.
And my name is Mariam, and we'll be virtually guiding you through a crash course on mobile photography. Today, we'll be showing you how to take amazing photos without having to use your money to buy a camera. All you'll need is a smartphone and access to the App Store so that you can use all of the apps Em and I will be talking about. Whether you consider yourself an artist or not, we photograph everything, from our travels to our pets to our meals and everything in between. Taking photos on your camera is just as important as using a DSLR. Mobile photography is a very convenient and accessible way to take pictures. You can whip out your camera spontaneously, you have the ability to share your photos on platforms like Instagram and Twitter, and you can get really close to your subjects.
Mariam and I have 8 tips on how to take good mobile photos.
This might be super obvious, but clean your lens. Your phone spends a lot of time in your pockets, your hands, or in your bag, and it's bound to get cloudy with dirt. Set the focus to ensure your image stays sharp. Your camera's autofocus doesn't always focus on the thing that you want it to. You'll have to do it manually by pressing the screen where you want your camera to focus. A yellow box should appear to indicate the focal point. At this point, you're good to press the shutter button.
Tip number 3, adjust your exposure to get the perfect brightness levels. Sometimes your photo might turn out a little too bright or overexposed, or a little bit too dark, which is underexposed. What you can do is tap on your screen and you can adjust the exposure by swiping up or down. Of course, sometimes you deliberately want to have certain parts of your photo to be a little bit darker or a little bit lighter, but when that's not really the goal of taking your photos, you can easily change that by just tapping on your screen. Tip number 4, use the HDR features for evenly lit photos. Sometimes when you take a photo on your mobile phone, it doesn't really capture the detail and the proper colors of your shadows and your highlights in your scene. What the HDR feature does, and by the way, HDR means high dynamic range, what it does is it allows you to see the proper amount of detail in both the shadows and the highlights. So when you take a photo, everything in your photo is perfectly balanced.
Shoot in portrait mode to create blurred backgrounds. If you're taking a headshot, a nature shot, or simply want a professional or artsy looking portrait, you can use portrait mode. Basically what portrait mode is that it uses depth effect software to keep your foreground looking sharp while blurring your background. Most Androids and iPhones have this, and in an iPhone you can find it above the white shutter button if you press portrait mode, and then you should see natural light in yellow, and then you're ready to take the shot. If you're taking action shots, activate burst mode. If you want to capture a moving object, iPhone has a hidden feature that helps you to take a bunch of photos and then go back and pick which action shot that you want. All you have to do is press your shutter button and then move it slightly to the left, and the camera will keep taking photos in quick succession until you remove your finger.
Tip number 7 is the rule of thirds. This rule helps you with the composition of your photo, and what the rule states is that you should put the most important element of your photo off-center rather than directly in the middle of your frame. And what this helps you to do is create a photo that's very naturally balanced and engaging to the eye. Tip number 8, use leading lines for powerful images with incredible depth. Leading lines, which can literally be anything, it can be a railway, it can be a river, it can even be footsteps, allows the viewer to really look into the photo. And a leading line can be anything that basically starts at the foreground of your scene and leads to the background of your scene. Everything that Mariam and I just went through is guaranteed to get you some really cool shots. But half the time with photography, what gets you good photos is really in the editing process. So we're gonna go through a couple of apps that we really like, that are free, that offer some really cool options for you to edit on the go. The first app is Lightroom Mobile. This is a great place to start to familiarize yourself with Lightroom's different features. Lightroom is a huge software for editing photos and sometimes often quite overwhelming, but there's so many things that you can do with it, and the best place to start is with mobile. You can change the exposure, the contrast, the highlights, and completely change the look and feel of your photo. The second app I love is called VSCO. VSCO offers awesome editing presets that you can apply on your photos. And what's really cool about it is you can customize how much of that preset you want applied on your photo. So if you just want to bring out some small details without oversaturating the photo too much, you can customize how much of that preset you'd like to put on. And if you're not sure, a preset actually just means customized filter, and you can make your own in Lightroom as well.
This isn't so much editing, but Unfold is a great app that you can use to present your photos. It offers layouts, grids, and frames and other eye-catching stuff that you can use to display your photos. Some of the packages go for $2 to $3, but the app itself is free and you're not required to make an account. Here are some Unfold photos. Another app is Snapseed. This app is completely free and really great for people who aren't so technology savvy. Snapseed is the app that I use to edit most of my pictures. Here is an example of a photo both before and after I use Snapseed to edit it. This is before. And this is after.
As you take more photos on your mobile phone, we encourage you to explore how you see the world. Asking yourself questions like, why do I think this is beautiful? Or what is so appealing about this image? Or even delving a little deeper and thinking, how does this make me feel? And how can I put that into a photo that I want others to see?
When photographing people, we have to think about questions like, what is their story? What do we want to show through this image? How does this person make me feel? And how can I show that through this image?
We encourage you to think about these questions the next time you take a photo. Think of the story, the impact, and what your image actually represents. Especially at a time when protests and social uproar are everywhere in our communities, mobile phones have taken the lead on documenting justice and truth by showing us the beauty and ugliness that exists in society. Our phones are a very powerful tool. They don't just take nice photos, they create statements that change the way we see the world. We challenge you to think about a movement or an event in your community and think about what kind of story you can tell through your lens.
Thank you for tuning into our workshop. We hope you enjoyed.